Well, now, guys, we have arrived to yet another special stream. And of course, it is one that I've been looking forward to doing for a while. Well, not exactly the one I'm doing for a while, but one of the ones definitely for a while. What's going on, guys? This is the Club of the Man 1993, and I'm coming at you tonight for my weekly special stream of the week. It's Thursday night for another special top 10. This week, since we're still in the month of August, leading up into the weeks till SummerSlam, I am going to do another top 10 stream based off of SummerSlam. Last week, I did a double special because I did two different categories. I did my top 10 SummerSlam moments and my top 10 SummerSlam hidden gems. This week, we're going to, kind of do just one aspect, the matches now. We're going to do a best and a worst. And I went back to this carefully, went through it several times. And again, with me watching all the SummerSlams now this year, I can't talk about every single match in SummerSlam history, but I got my good fair SummerSlam favorites from the past, even before my time I started watching wrestling. So I think I'm pretty confident with this list, and I'm looking forward to talking about both of these best and the worst. Now, of course, the worst ones, though, I had a little bit of a hard time. I came up with actually, I think 8 or 9 before I started to struggle a little bit. So I was looking up, what matches, people, would consider, some of the worst. And some of them were just to me, there were a bunch of people I don't know much about that I can't really judge. So there was 1 or 2 that I kind of just threw in there for the list for the worst. But other than that, I'm pretty confident with both of my lists. I've looked over them a few times, and I think I'm going to be ready to share this. So guys, let's get started here. First, we're checking out the live chat here. See who we got so far in the live chat. We just have Dakota so far. He says he's first. All smiley faces. Usually our first, buddy. So awesome. And he's excited for football preseason to start. That's awesome. I mean, I'll be honest and say I'm not much of a football fan, but if you're excited for football season, awesome. I'm happy for you. Of course, my dad is as well, since he's a huge football fan. Is Ono still a face? I think Cassius Ono is still a face, but he is slowly transitioning, I feel, into more of a heel role. We'll see once he starts getting to, the meat of this whole aspect of him running more competition. But I do definitely see the seeds being planted, though, for the Cassius Ono heel turn. Jeff Hardy versus Orton is a Hell in a Cell match. A Hell in a Cell has been confirmed. That is awesome. I think that a feud is going to be worthy of Hell in a Cell. I know I heard about that Aleister Black is officially not going to be at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 4. So the championship match for the NXT Championship is no longer a triple threat. It's going to be a one-on-one match between Gargano and Ciampa. The third match between them two in a last man standing match. Now, this was supposed to be a last man standing match at TakeOver Chicago too, until they gave the last man standing match to Styles Nakamura the following night at Money in the Bank. I would have rather had something a little bit different. Again, I would have rather had Hell in a Cell personally. Last man standing street fight, and of course the unsanctioned match is basically another street fight. I all feel like they're kind of the same. I would like to have something a little bit different. Hell in a Cell would have been able to blow it off. Now, I don't know if they will for sure or not, but they may do, a fourth match between these two if Gargano does win the championship, which I think Gargano at this point should just win the championship off of Tommaso Ciampa. I know, I originally predicted, I felt like this should have been the right way to go. Gargano should have won the championship off of Tommaso Ciampa but have him pin Aleister Black in a triple threat match. So I would have had him pin Black. That way, Ciampa has an excuse for him to have another match at War Games 2. But I think that may not happen now. But if they do have a fourth match at War Games 2, be Hell in a Cell, I'd say. That's my thoughts on that. Do you like Keith Lee's finisher, the Fireman's Carry Jackhammer? It's awesome. And he is hoping that Gargano wins to take over Brooklyn. He doesn't like SummerSlam being in New York. It should be in California or Florida because they are more known for summer. Good point there. Punk in the record books is still the longest reigning champion in the modern day era. Exactly. The reason Styles has had so many meaningless feuds is to postpone his reign so he can break Punk's record. Okay, makes sense. In the WWE's record books, Punk is still the longest reigning champion in the modern day era. Maybe we could see a Jeff Swanton Orton through the announce table from the top. Jeff has never been in a Hell in a Cell match in WWE. Really? I did not know that, but that's actually very interesting. So if that's the case, then I definitely want to see him and Orton step inside Hell in a Cell next month. So some good stuff. for you, Dakota, to bring up to start off this special stream. But without further ado, let's get into the first of these top 10 lists. And of course, as I always, I will start with the worst because, I like to start off, not so good, but end on a positive note. So let's start with the top 10 worst matches in SummerSlam history. Starting off with my number 10. Now, this one was one that, I don't really consider bad, but I didn't really, the match they had was all right, but everything around it and what it led to eventually, that's what leaves me with a sour taste. My number 10 is the New Day versus the Club in the WWE Tag Team Championship match at SummerSlam 2016. Now, here's the thing. I've said how many times again that I was completely cool with New Day becoming the longest reigning WWE World Tag Team Champions. But truth be told, I really felt they should have dropped the tag titles to the Club. The Club came in on fire. They had a great feud with the Usos. They kind of got intertwined in the feud involving AJ Styles and John Cena. Yes, they did lose the match to Enzo and Cass. I get it. But I was okay with that. I was okay with them losing that six-man tag match. The iron felt hot, and I felt that they needed to strike, giving the Club the tag titles. And here's the thing also. If they wanted to have, here's the thing. I get it, the New Day had two separate runs in 2015. They had the first run for dropping to the Primetime Players. Somewhat forgave that because I felt the Primetime Players had some momentum going also, and they deserved a run with the tag titles. But if they would have kept the titles on the New Day from Extreme Rules until SummerSlam, they could have probably broken the record there also. And it could have been okay for them to drop the titles to the Club. As I just thought this is what the Club needed. But instantly, the story here was involving the Club took out Big E, the muscle of the muscle and the powerhouse of the New Day. And I thought with that, I thought maybe what they're going to do here is have, Kofi and Xavier Woods drop the titles. And, that could eventually lead to Big E turning on them or something like that. I thought maybe that was a direction to go. Like, it seemed like there was something unique about Big E being taken out of this match. But then, of course, the whole thing with ring post-itis came around, and they're trying to bring comedy out of the Club. Now, this, of course, ended eventually with the retirement homes and the old day league. The build for the Night of Champions match between the two was even worse. And that's when I think the Club really got destroyed. But this was the planting of the seeds for the end of, the dominance of Gallows and Anderson, I felt, in WWE. So first off, we have Jon Stewart, who comes out, and I'm sorry, he was high on something that night. He was so high as hell. And I don't even know what the heck he even said, but he was out there as the honorary member of the New Day. So Gallows and Anderson are taking on the obvious two weaker members of the New Day, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. And again, I'm thinking, what if, something happens to Big E returns and turns on them or something? I felt like that's what they were going there because, up until then, I believe it was always Big E and Kofi defended titles. It was never Xavier Woods until, after that, they started having Xavier Woods, and he felt credible. So, okay, I can at least forgive that. But they have the Club setting up to take out Jon Stewart with the ring post-itis thing again. And that's when Big E returns and causes a disqualification. It's one of the first times, in my memory, that I can remember a match like SummerSlam or like WrestleMania, like a big event like that, with a match ending in a disqualification like that. I mean, okay, yeah, backtrack. 2015, I believe, had one also with Dolph Ziggler and Rusev also. That match didn't end clean, set up for more to come. But still, it was treated like an angle for Big E to just return. I didn't hear any rumors of Big E, needing time off for anything or whatnot. So what's the point of writing him off in the first place? The match they had wasn't too bad. But then, like I said, the comedy thing was not funny. And this is, again, just planted the seeds leading towards the downfall of the Club. It's not probably the worst of all time. Yeah, this was just one of the matches that I just threw on there at the end because I couldn't think of like two more. It was this one and another one that's a little bit later on in this list. But it was just one of the matches that I just remember feeling sad about. Because 2016 SummerSlam, I thought was not bad of a show. The problem they probably had that show, though, was the card placement. You had your best match tonight, John Cena and AJ Styles, 4th out of like, including the pre-show, 11 or 12 matches, and it just burned the crowd out so early. I think this match, may followed it, or been the second match afterwards, and the rest of the show is history, pretty much, as you could say. I mean, there were still some good matches after that, but the card placement on that show was definitely, what kind of, brought down my excitement for that show just a little bit. But yeah, this match, it was a pointless angle that really meant nothing really in the long run. It was just Big E returning. Again, I thought maybe it was going to set up some tension with the New Day. Did not do that though, as the New Day would go on to retain against the Club twice again a month later, and this has set the tone for the downfall of the Club. So that's why it is my number 10 for the worst SummerSlam matches of all time. Let me check the. And you know what? I'll do another one before I check the live chat again. See who's in there. Actually, I'll just peek and see who's there. Lauren's and now actually let me check the live chat right now and see what's going on. Lawrence is here. Telling everybody, I think for your best SummerSlam match is going to be John Cena and Daniel Bryan. We'll see about that. Cena in 2013 really cut up. Punk is being sued by Colt Cabana, I've heard. I think your worst is going to be Rusev versus Orton in 2017. I did consider putting that match on this list, actually, but I did not. That's not on the list, surprisingly. There's two matches from SummerSlam 2017 that actually made this list. Did you know? Tell them about the Hell in a Cell thing. She wants Orton to win. Cena versus Orton at SummerSlam 2007, and Orton versus Benoit and Cena versus Bryan were her favorite SummerSlam matches. Her least favorites were Triple H versus Booker T at SummerSlam 2007. That was a consideration, but I did not put that on the list. Punk and Hardy in 2009 was amazing. Edge versus Cena was good too, but Orton versus Hogan was bad, as well as Cena versus Jericho in 2005. Cena and Jericho in 2005 wasn't bad. Orton Hogan was definitely down there. This is on the list though. Lauren, Jeff will win. How bad he's being booked. Taker versus Orton in 2005 was amazing. I forgot about that one. Jeff will win. Hopefully he doesn't though. DX versus Legacy, she thought was bad. I didn't mind that match, but that's cool. Jeff needs it. Lauren, he is so underrated compared to Orton. Orton can take the loss. Jeff can't. I'm starting to think. Who needs to win more in Hell in a Cell, Jeff or Orton? I mean, again, if you want to see in the, it's tough. I definitely can't decide. I got to think about that one. So who I want to see win, Jeff or Orton? It's tough because I want to see Orton get the momentum going as a heel. So maybe him getting the win might help as a heel. But then again, he said for Orton, Jeff could use the win also with not him having him constantly lose. So definitely a tough one. I'd have to think about that one. And he thinks the best SummerSlam match ever is Punk and Cena. And then Lawrence said, who was on our other account now, say Orton needs it. He's being booked Word A or however it is. She switched accounts. But anyways, let's continue on with the list here. I want to read off a few before we get back to the live chat. But so far, my number 10 on the worst the worst SummerSlam matches, in my opinion, is the New Day versus the Club at SummerSlam for the Tag Team Championship at SummerSlam 2016. Number 9. Now, this one might cause a little controversy, but I'll explain why. This is another match I didn't think was god-awful terrible, but I didn't like the ending because of how I felt it was being overdone, in my personal opinion. And I just remember watching this match a couple months ago and just getting annoyed, like, okay, come on, just stop this now. It's getting ridiculous now. But my number 9 match is John Cena and Randy Orton for the WWE Championship from SummerSlam 2009. The 2007 match they had wasn't bad. That was a good match. It was probably, in my opinion, the only match I remember enjoying from SummerSlam 2007. I didn't really like SummerSlam 2007 when I watched it, but that match, that was good. Yes, I know the whole storyline of the Cena and Orton rivalry being, overdone. They've fought a lot. A lot of people don't think, they have like that fight forever feel to them. Not some people do, some people don't. So this match has nothing to do with that concept. The thing I didn't like about this match was the ending. I think this is during the time again. Orton was still, just like this heel, like probably in the best run as a heel, I'd say. But the ending was like they restarted the match like 3 times because like Orton was trying to leave, and then I think they took countouts away. Then he tried to leave again, and they took disqualifications away. And then a 3rd time, I think they restarted the match like 3 or 4 times. And in some cases, yes, that has definitely worked. Well, here not too often that has happened, but to me, I just felt it was just getting overdone. And I think to me, it kind of took away from the quality of the match, in my opinion. I mean, you may think differently. I just thought it definitely just took away from it's one thing to take something like have it like at the beginning of the match try to do it away, but it was like all like piling on at the end like that, and it was just getting ridiculous. It's like the match was going on again. It wasn't going. It was going pretty good. And then of course towards the end when probably the heel champion is realizing hey, I'm running out of luck here, let's try to get out of here. No, boom, that. Then he tries to do the same again. Boom, that. It's like you could do that, but don't have like it's like boom, 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 like the draw, like the way you build up this to like an event like that, like taking away counts, taking away disqualifications or whatnot, or taking away like I think there was like 3 or 4 restarts this match, like I said. Spreading them out, like it was done like way too soon. It just didn't feel too dramatic to me, in my opinion, and it just really brought down the quality and maybe just grown when this match finally ended. Pretty much, again, it has nothing to do with the whole thing of the Cena and Orton rivalry kind of being a little bit overdone, especially from like the late 2000s into the early 2010s and whatnot. That's the main reason why again I kind of. But not. I'm sorry, not the ending was the main reason why I considered this one for my list of worst SummerSlam matches of all time. Is mainly because of like the ending, just being overdone with the constant change and whatnot. So that's why that is my number 9 on this list. Is John Cena and Randy Orton in the WWE Championship match at SummerSlam 2009 because of the choppy ending. I thought, in my opinion. So that's number 9 on my list. Please don't hate me for that one, guys. Number 8. Let's go back to SummerSlam 1993. The main event of that show, Lex Luger versus Yokozuna for the WWF Championship. SummerSlam 1993 was a mass show when I remember watching it. And of course, this is around the time where Lex Luger was like the Roman Reigns of the WWF. He was like the next, like, biggest thing that Vince McMahon was trying to do, the All-American Express, or whatever the heck his nickname was. I can't remember it at this time. But I definitely could see, where they're trying to go with him, and no one was buying into it. This guy literally earned this championship match from, I think, beating Yokozuna or someone in a body slamming contest. A body slamming contest. Like, why? And then the match happens. Yokozuna had been in the main event for like a couple years at this point for most big pay-per-views. Really wasn't really that impressed with him. The match happened. The match was meh. But what made this match on this list is the ending made no sense. Once again, the first 3 matches are mainly because of the ending. The finish made no sense. So no one apparently was able to really beat Yokozuna at this time. Well, Bret Hart did at SummerSlam 1993, but then just to have Lex Luger winning by countout, and everyone's acting like he's some big American hero all of a sudden. They're having this big confetti thing coming out. He's like being like carried around. Like the show is ending like he overcame the odds and he beat Yokozuna. Okay, yes, he beat Yokozuna, but he didn't win the championship. It's still champion's advantage. It was just an awkward finish, just a weird way to end the show with a count-out victory, not winning the championship, but you're celebrating like the guy's a hero. How are we supposed to get behind that? How are we supposed to believe that Lex Luger was a hero in that? Again, I wasn't watching full-time back then, but I remember seeing that match and just being confused. It's like, like why? It made absolutely no sense, I thought. But that's why that's my number 8 on this list. My number 8, once again, is Lex Luger versus Yokozuna for the WWF Championship at SummerSlam 1993. My number 7 on this list. This was another match that I really didn't want to put this on the list, but again, I was stuck. I had 8. I instantly knew I want to put on this list. This was another one that I just put on because like it's one I thought, okay, this could be bad, but not really the worst when I saw it. But I put it on because I remember coming out of this match kind of angry. My number 7 on this list is the opening match from last year's SummerSlam: John Cena versus Baron Corbin. Now, here's the thing: I'm not upset that Baron Corbin lost this match because I was digging and getting behind him and taking him seriously, and I wanted him to eventually be built up to be a serious contender for the WWE Championship. Of course, he was thrown into an awkward feud with Shinsuke Nakamura after he won the briefcase. It was like a time where it's like, okay, they both need some sort of momentum here right now, so I didn't want to see either one to win. And then that feud just went. And then the week before SummerSlam, Corbin fails his cash-in, one of the worst cash-ins ever, to Jinder Mahal. And again, I'm not a full-out John Cena hater. I'm not. I don't fully hate Cena. I do respect the guy for what he's done, but he has done some things. Well, the character has done some things that's pissed me off. And this match, here's the thing: if you wanted to, if they were trying to, get Corbin angry, to go out there and try to literally beat Cena and just come across as a monster that Cena was able to overcome, okay. But Corbin came out there acting like, again, you expect him to just go out there and just want to tear Cena to shreds. Corbin basically went out there and made Cena I shouldn't say made Cena, and Cena pretty much just, was acting like, I remember he ran out of the ring at one point, threw on JBL's hat, and was acting like this match was a walk in the park for him. And Corbin just let Cena just, walk all over him pretty much. That's what what kind of aggravated me. It's like, okay, you lost the briefcase. Yes, it was a terrible cash-in, but in reality is the big man who you are, who just, cares about nothing but yourself, wouldn't you be going out there and ripping apart the guy who costed you that briefcase? But instead, he walks out there just like he's just getting ready to start a normal match and whatnot, and doesn't even try to, come across as a dangerous threat to Cena whatsoever. And Cena pretty much just laughs him off as some type of joke. And now story being told in a match, and yes, Corbin didn't have to win the match, but he could have at least looked like he was trying to prove to Cena, hey, I'm not a joke. You could have gotten lucky. No, Corbin looked like an idiot. He looked weak. Just like that. Either, they just cut off his momentum just like that, or I remember someone saying this recently, I read somewhere online, or it's like someone just pulled the rug off from all underneath him and he just fell flat on his butt. That's exactly what happened with Baron Corbin. And this match just put the exclamation point. I was so mad. Instantly, my hype was already down because I just did not like how that match was booked at all. Making a young star who, yes, he probably wasn't completely ready yet, but you didn't have to at least make him look like he was, doomed or whatnot like they did. But that's why this made my list. Again, it was one of the matches that I didn't really want to put on this list. I didn't think it was that terrible, but just thinking about it even more and how I needed to decide 2 of them. I need 2 more. This is one of them that I threw onto the card. So that's why it is my number 7 on this list. John Cena versus Baron Corbin in the opening match of SummerSlam 2017. This is not the only SummerSlam 2017 match, though, on this list. I'll get to that one a little later. Let's do one more match to get halfway through before we get to the live chat. Number 6, King Booker versus Batista for the WWE. Well, I'm sorry, it's just the World Heavyweight Championship, not the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. That is technically a different title because it was merged in 2013. But King Booker versus Batista for the World Heavyweight Championship at SummerSlam 2006. So I believe this is around the time where Batista had to relinquish the title at the end of 2005 due to injury, I believe it was. And then, Rey Mysterio went on to win the Royal Rumble for Eddie and whatnot, since it was supposed to be Eddie Guerrero's moment. But the story was Rey doing it all for Eddie. And yes, he was booked kind of poorly once he won the world title at WrestleMania in the triple threat match with Orton and Angle. But, we're not here to talk about that. Booker T wins it off of him, I believe, at the Great American Bash. So Batista's back, and he's going to reclaim the title that he never lost against King Booker. I just don't know why the WWE booked King Booker bad. I mean, Booker T not really the strongest they probably could have, not being put over by Triple H a couple years earlier, as he should have, or as recently as he probably should have. But this match, I just thought was slow. It was boring. It just never really got out of the first gear. It wasn't even like average. It was just blah. And then for the hell of it, it ended in a disqualification. It was weird. Like I think Batista was in the corner, and then Queen Charmella just came in and just like jumped onto Batista's back like wanting a piggyback, and was like just awkwardly like tapping his bald head or something. Like it was something completely awkward. Like, okay, for disqualification, you could say something a little bit more vicious and whatnot, but this was just like awkward as hell. It was slow, it was boring, awkward finish. Wasn't a big fan of it at all when I saw it, and that's why it made this list here. Now, I think eventually Batista does, I think it's Survivor Series later this year, does go on to reclaim the championship he never lost at Survivor Series against King Booker. But this match wasn't a big fan of it at all. Now, I know Lauren mentioned earlier Triple H and Booker T. Also, an honorable mention. That match also was kind of bland as well, but it did not make this list, though. But that is not the last time you're going to hear a match all Batista. Again, not Batista's fault, the other match I'm going to talk about that's on this list. But I think that's actually coming up at number 5. But first, before we get on to the second half of the worst, like our top 10 worst SummerSlam matches, let's check out the live chat again and see who we got here. Let's see here. Let me see here. I got to scroll back to the top. Punk versus Cena is great. Definitely in the top 5. Actually, I'll be honest. Did I put Punk and Cena on my list? It definitely is one of the better ones, but I'm not sure if it made my top 10. Yeah, I don't think it did. I think because I like the Money in the Bank match better. I mean, it was still definitely good, but I think it was a couple other matches. But Punk and Cena is definitely a good one. She's sorry for switching. Her iPad died. No worries. New Day versus the Club was awful. Is this best and the worst? It is. The worst will be Taker versus Taker. Cena and Orton in 09. Hello. Great Khali versus Triple H. Worst for him. Oh, Tian Coupon. What's up, buddy? I think I consider that one, but that one didn't make the list. Another one involving Great Khali made the list. He's on Tian Coupon is on break from work. Lauren liked their 09 match. The 09 match between Cena and Orton, it was heelish and confusing, but she loved it. That's completely cool. You don't like the Orton and Cena feud. Again, I just feel I personally feel it may be kind of overdone. I feel in some way. They don't have like that fight forever feel to it. I mean, here and there they're going to collide. You can't complain about it, but definitely back in the days they kept saying they're not going to feud more, but they kept feuding. It's just the same thing over and over again. What if they have them switch the roles or something like that for a change? Just my personal opinion, but yeah. She also thinks that Triple H with Khali was awful. Tian Coupon's favorite match was Brett and Owen in the Steel Cage Match 94. We'll get to that one shortly. And then Lauren also mentioned whoever Jinder faced last year was awful too. Oh, that's right. Jinder Mahal and Shinsuke Nakamura. That's an honorable mention. I completely forgot about that match. Dakota says he likes Orton, but any more matches are not great like before. Hopefully they'll be different though since he's turned heel. Yeah, Jinder faced Nakamura. It's not Orton's fault. He's poorly booked exactly. Jinder Nakamura is awful. Corbin and Cena was awful. Alicia Fox and Melina was awful. Oh yeah, that one from starting in 2010. That was good. That was awful as well. Mike, how are you? Not too bad. Tian Coupon about yourself. Lauren says Lex and Yokozuna was a mess. Like she couldn't watch it. The Lex Express. What's up, Larry King the First? Good to see you again, buddy. We're all having good days here. Orton could still try and put on better matches. Rollins turns garbage into chicken salad because he tries. Lex versus Yokozuna was just about him body slamming him to help America. Yeah, again, that was just weird as hell. Stone Cold versus The Rock. I don't think they had a match at SummerSlam, did they? Triple H versus The Rock in the ladder match in 1998. We maybe talk about that one later on also. Seth versus Cena was okay. Not the best because of the John Cena interference, which made no sense. That was unpredictable. That was actually in my in my top 10 hidden gems last week. That match. I mean, that was still a good match, and it made Seth Rollins look like a main eventer. I thought. HBK versus Hogan. That's definitely a good one to mention also, but it did not make my top 10, but that wasn't too bad. We know AJ is the best in the world, but Rollins and Gargano are close to numbers 2 and 3. I agree. Cena versus Corbin. Yes, Larry, the first. I'm doing the bad matches first, and I'm talking about the good ones. Roman versus Orton was not too good either. Roman couldn't sell. Yeah, the match. After watching it again, the match. I thought the second half was better, but the first part was definitely not really as good as it definitely seemed. I agree with that one. Going back to work, hope everyone has a good night. See you later, TN Couponer. Lesnar versus Cena was bad too. Oh, that squash match. That glorified squash match. Lesnar versus Punk was one of the best also. Dakota says Sheamus versus Orton in 2015 was bad too. That was average, I thought, but it was not a good match to use to open up the show, I thought. Corbin was ruined. Finn versus Seth was okay, but Finn got injured. That match, I thought, that was a hidden gem for me last week also, but what hurt that match is the fact that everybody was crapping on the belt the whole entire match. But watching it again, I still thought it was a good match. They have great chemistry together. Taker versus Lesnar was bad too. That match was all right. It wasn't great, wasn't awful. Weird finish, but it still wasn't too bad in my opinion. And that is hard for Lesnar to have a good match. Lauren liked King Booker and Batista. That's completely cool. Ray versus Eddie was terrible too. So it was terrible. I mean, I thought it was. I actually the concept behind the match is weird, but I thought the match the ladder match wasn't too bad. That I thought, in my opinion, that's your opinion. Though. It's awful. Team WWE versus the Nexus was awful. Now, I did not put that on this list because as a wrestling match, it still wasn't too bad, but the overall story told in the match too, having Cena going over the Nexus and pretty much sparing them was not the best at all. But I did think in the match still for the most part wasn't too bad wrestling wise, but the wrong person went over in the match. I didn't put that one on the list. Yeah, next should have been put over. Del Rio versus Cena was bad. Del Rio and Cena at SummerSlam. I don't think that happened at SummerSlam. But might be thinking Mickey's match in 08 was bad. I can't remember that one. Was it that year? Was 2007. One of the years it was like that mixed tag match. It was Kofi and Mickey versus Beth and Santino for the women's and IC titles. That one was mad. Also, I remember it was weird. Blame Cena for Nexus losing. 70 versus Brie was okay. Could be better. Yeah, that wasn't too bad. I didn't mind that. Thank you so much for checking out my Raw video and also for commenting. It really so much to me. If you could share with the people or tell your friends, it would be so great. Definitely. Larry King. Lauren said she'll be back. Dakota says, do you think Gargano will be the best in-ring wrestler one day? Possibly be. Do you think Joe and Keith would be a great tag team? Samoa Joe and Keith Lee wouldn't be too bad. I mentioned already also earlier today in my NXT review of having Keith Lee teaming up with the Authors of Pain. I think they would be a dangerous unit together as well. Bask in our destruction. Since Joe is bound on destruction and Lee is bask in my glory. That's true. Yeah, that would be an interesting tag team. Keith Lee versus Keith Lee and Samoa Joe. I mean, honestly, one-on-one someday, but even as a tag team, sure, I'd give it a try. I definitely think they're both agile and worth it. Excuse me, I burped. But yeah, so since we have a few new people in the live chat joining us, of course, I will go over my 6 to 10 so far for the worst SummerSlam matches. So the best ones, dude. I'm doing the worst ones first, and then going on onto the finish out with the best. So my worst SummerSlam matches so far. Number 10 is New Day versus The Club for the WWE Tag Team Championships at SummerSlam 2016. Number 9, Randy Orton versus John Cena for the WWE Championship at SummerSlam 2009. Number 8 was Lex Luger versus Yokozuna for the WWF Championship at SummerSlam 1993. Number 7 is John Cena versus Baron Corbin at SummerSlam 2017. Number 6 was King Booker versus Batista for the World Heavyweight Championship at SummerSlam 2006. So that is 6 to 10 so far. Let's tune in for 5 to 1 for the worst and see which ones are the absolute worst. Number 5 on my list, the Great Khali versus Batista for the World Heavyweight Championship at SummerSlam 2007. I've ranted how many times on the Great Khali. Tall, boring. Again, the first time I ever saw the Great Khali was at the first WWE event I ever attended, which I've said how many times. I was not a full-time wrestling fan until SummerSlam 2013, but the first ever wrestling live event I attended was just to hang out with some friends, was the Raw and SmackDown tapings for the 2012 Christmas edition, the night, of course, where Del Rio hit Cena and Del Rio was in that Christmas street fight afterwards. All I remember from that match was Cena throwing 3 strikes right with the bowling ball right into Del Rio's nuts. Anyways, so I was introduced to Great Khali as the world's tallest Christmas elf. I'm just like, who is this guy? He just walked on like, and then being the Punjabi playboy also as well, which I thought was extremely awkward as well. Who would want to kiss that ugly thing? Yeah. Anyway, so back in 2007, apparently, again, the plan was Mr. Kennedy was in line to get a gigantic push. The whole storyline with, Vince McMahon, limousine blowing up. Of course, that all got blown. That whole storyline got blown up whenever Vince had to appear back on the memorial show following the tragic death, the Chris Benoit double murder suicide. We're not going to talk about that. But so the storyline was kind of getting scrapped. But Mr. Kennedy still being in line for his big push was still in line because he was supposed to be Mr. McMahon's illegitimate son. And, he was supposed to be revealed. He was trying to hand over the company to him, like whenever Vince came back, like right to WrestleMania the following year or whatnot. Or anyways, getting back on track here. But anyways, so Mr. Kennedy was supposed to become the world heavyweight champion, become like the next, big heel and get a mega push, but then drop the title to Triple H at WrestleMania 24. So that way Triple H can, save the company or whatnot. But of course, that all got scratched because in the order, one of the two happened first. Again, Mr. Kennedy did suffer an injury, and then also he suffered a suspension for violating the wellness policy. So one of those happens and caused him to drop the briefcase to Edge. Well, then Edge, won the world champ title, but then he had to drop that due to injury, and they need another big heel. So who did they give it to? The Great Khali. The Great freaking Khali was world heavyweight champion. Oh. I think it was Tina Couponer mentioned it before that there was also the match with Triple H and Great Khali. I think at SummerSlam 2008. That was bad, but I feel like Triple H was able to get a little bit more offense, in the match, make it look a little bit more interesting than this match. But this match again was slow. It was boring. It was all centered around that stupid story of someone trying to, break out of the Khali vice grip. It's just a freaking rest hold by a man by 7 feet 4 inches with just huge hands. Yes, okay, it's probably tough to, overcome and whatnot. But exciting, entertaining. We loved it. No. And then to make matters worse, it's apparently, Batista was able to break out of it or whatnot a few times. So just for the heck of it, the match ends with Khali hitting a Punjabi plunge on Batista on a steel chair, causing a disqualification just because. Just because. Because. No, I'm not going to start saying the Wizard of Oz songs. It's a good movie, though, by the way. But, yeah. I cannot name you one match I actually could say was tolerable involving a Great Khali. Even Triple H and Great Khali wasn't tolerable. I didn't want to keep ranting on, Khali in this stream, but that definitely is one of the worst matches of all time for me. Is Great Khali versus Batista at SummerSlam 2007 for the World Heavyweight Championship. That's my number 5. Number 4 is from last year's SummerSlam. This match pisses me off, especially because this match was on the main show, not the pre-show, but the New Day and Usos put on a great SmackDown Live Tag Team Championship match on the pre-show. That match should have been on the main show. This match should have been on the pre-show because this match did nobody any favors. Big Show versus Big Cass with Enzo Amore locked in a steel cage. So this is an odd situation. So this was right before Enzo Amore went off the 205 Live. And right after him and Big Cass split, which, again, I was 50-50 about. I still think to this day they should not have split up. Again, it's worked out great for the bar, but I still think Enzo and Cass should have been the tag team turning heel on the Hardy Boys, and not instead of Sheamus and Cesaro. Again, even though it's worked out great for Sheamus and Cesaro, I really think it should have been Enzo and Cass turning heel on the Hardy Boys, because I felt they were the true team that had the momentum, and that was their match to win going into WrestleMania 33 before the Hardy Boys came back and pretty much stole their spotlight. I felt that would be the right story to turn them heel and be a newly invented heel tag team, becoming a threat on the main roster for the tag team division on Raw. But instead, they split them up. And yes, the story did make sense. They had made Enzo being into a guy who just runs his mouth and whatnot. So the promo that Cass cut explained why he betrayed Enzo made sense, but I still wasn't really for it, because they're one of my favorite tag teams in NXT, and I wanted to see them get a run with the tag team championships. So they split them up, and yes, they have a squash match at Great Balls of Fire. I'm sorry, Great Balls of Fire. # WWE Balls, as my friends and I were saying in the build for that match, but not for that pay-per-view. But so yeah, I didn't expect that. So then afterwards, I'm thinking, okay, they may have, Big Cass feud with the Big Show. And to me, I was like, okay, let's give this a try. Because I really enjoyed the matches that Big Show and Braun Strowman had on Raw that year, that in 2017. I think Big Show really helped put over Braun Strowman very well. They had great chemistry together. And I thought maybe he can do that the same thing with Big Cass. Fortunately, this was not the case. The storyline here was, Big Show is basically just doing Enzo Amore's bidding. And Big Show was just, like a mousetrap for Enzo Amore to just come in and try to get the upper hand on Big Cass. That's what he was trying to do. So then because of that, they had him locked in the shark cage. Why do you want a babyface locked in a shark cage to prevent a heel from winning? The dynamics that were offered the first part. And then the match they had was slow. It was boring. Yes, I always thought Cass had the singles potential, but him and Big Show just didn't work out. It was just slow and boring. It was just basically Big Show on the ground, Cass just pulling punches at him, and then Enzo takes like oil or something, puts it all over his body, enough for him to be able to slide through the shark cage and escape it. Cass won, but it did nobody any favors. This match was on the main show, but the New Day and Usos for the SmackDown Live Tag Team Championships was on the pre-show because of this match. This should have been on the pre-show, not the tag team title match. And of course, the next night it led to that Brooklyn street fight wherever Enzo. A recent interview I heard was Enzo shooting on like why him and Cass stopped being friends after Cass got injured, because Enzo was mad at Cass apparently because Cass suffered a knee injury, a legitimate knee injury during that Brooklyn street fight, and then I guess he was supposed to use a chair shot on him to kind of, put over Enzo dominating before going over to 205 Live, because he knew that he had pitched that recently with him being a single star. He pitched the idea of him going to 205 Live. That was supposed to help him give some momentum going to 205 Live. And that's the reason why he got mad at Cass, because Cass was not well enough to finish the match to help give Enzo that moment of glory. So Enzo got mad at him because he couldn't do that. Like, the guy was legitimately injured. But getting back to the match at Summerslam 2017, that match did no favors for nobody. It was stupid. Why would you have this match with a babyface and Enzo Amore at the time being locked in a shark cage? Yes, I get it. He was pretty much, Big Show was pretty much just his bait, pretty much, doing the work that Enzo could not get done. But it was just a train wreck. It did not work. It did nobody else favors. And now look, both Enzo and Cass are gone now. It's a shame. But that is why that is my number 4 on this list. Big Show versus Big Cass with Enzo Amore locked in a shark cage at SummerSlam 2017. Let's read number 3 before I check the live chat again. Number 3, Undertaker versus Giant Gonzales in their rematch from WrestleMania 9 at SummerSlam 1993. There's nothing much different to say from the WrestleMania match, other than the fact that the WrestleMania match ended in a disqualification. This match apparently also was called a rest in peace match, which nobody really even mentioned, what a rest in peace match was apparently up until right before the pay-per-view. It was basically no counts, no disqualifications. Like any normal match that you wouldn't have each one. Like there was nothing special or different about it. So that kind of draw the crowd down. They tried to make a star out of an 8-foot Argentinian giant who wore the ugliest looking bodysuit ever. Who came up with that? Like this, again, early in the days, no offense to Undertaker, all due respect to him, but Undertaker was nothing too special in the ring in the early to mid 90s. That's a true fact. He was not anything that special yet. He's a legend now, but back then he wasn't anything too spectacular. Yeah, the character gimmick was his, but in the ring he wasn't. And the match was long and boring. It took you out of it. And then that ugly bodysuit. I can't say anything more. I mean, it's simple. The match was slow. It was boring. It did nobody any favors. It was just god awful. And luckily, apparently, shortly after this is when Giant Gonzales left WWE. But sorry, that guy was not, that 8-foot giant was nothing special at all whatsoever. Especially in that ugly bodysuit. But that's why it's my number 3 on this list. The rematch from WrestleMania 9 at SummerSlam 1993. Giant Gonzales and The Undertaker. That's my number 3. Let's check the live chat, guys, before we get to our final 2. Let's see here. We got okay. Keith Lee can also do a standing moonsault. Yes, that is awesome. The Great Khali is a topic of its own. Yes, it is, King Larry. Can you believe the Great Khali beat 5 legends? The Undertaker, Kane, Batista, John Cena, and Jeff Hardy. Shouldn't have done that. It's unbelievable. We all know your favorite wrestler is Great Khali. No, not the world's tallest Christmas elf. I was supposed to be that at first, but then the Great Khali came around in my life. Jeff versus Great Khali was a battle of an IC champion, Jeff Hardy, against the World Heavyweight Champion, Great Khali, in a squash match. Ugh. The worst thing for Larry's personality is that at least he was portrayed right when he debuted. Khali's first years, he meant. When they made him turn babyface, well, it was a complete joke. Yeah, being a Punjabi playboy. Now, Mike, it's a shark cage, not a steel cage. Yeah, exactly. We all know you loved it when Enzo was rubbing baby oil all over his body, get all shiny and soft. Not soft is an S-O-F-T, not S-A-W-F-T. Soft. I still love that segment on the Raw to WrestleMania whenever Kurt Angle was first made GM. When they do that, they walk down and Angle's so confused, goes, "That's not how you spell soft." I don't know why. I just found that funny. Hell yeah. Lauren's back. She had to walk the pups. She thought the Usos and New Day was awful. I thought it was good, but that's fine, Lauren. Cass versus Enzo or Cass versus Show was awful. Yes, those were awful. The Usos and New Day was awesome. You're just salty because you hate the New Day. Okay. Oh, just okay. No heat on this here. The 6-woman tag match at SummerSlam 2016 was bad too. That one was for what it was. It was mainly there just to, welcome back Nikki Bella and just to, have an excuse. That time, SmackDown didn't have a tag title or a women's title. So it's just an excuse to get the women on the SmackDown women onto the show. Of course, that's right when Eva Marie walked out. Do you think the New Day versus the Blood and Brothers will be good or a squash match? kind of like a modified squash match, I feel, because I keep saying about the Bludgeon Brothers. I love the Bludgeon Brothers, but all their matches feel like just like a normal squash match against everybody else. Like I just want something different. So just going to dominate them, just destroy them pretty much, I feel. And if you hear any noise in the background, it's probably my dad watching the Steeler game. Anyways, Kane versus Matt Hardy at SummerSlam 2004 was awful. Also, Taker versus JBL was bad. That's right. That match, I forgot about that one. That was a bad one, too. And Booker T versus Cena. Yeah, that was very mad. I remember that. Triple H versus Eugene was bad. Yeah, what the heck was that? That was stupid. That Taker match in 93 is bad, too, at Giant Gonzales. Oh, yes. All the Bludgeon Brothers matches are trash. Do you think the New Day can make magic with them? Not sure. Mickey and Kofi versus Glamour was bad. A split of Enzo and Cass was the worst decision ever. Sorry if I have to add that. Yeah, again, they probably shouldn't have split them up. The Divas Battle Royal at SummerSlam 2007 was bad, too. I forgot about that one. True. Michelle versus Natty or Maurice in 2008 was bad as well. Vince thought the Giant Gonzales was special at all 8 foot, sweaty in that nice old bodysuit. No. Khali at 7.7. That was bad. Khali just made the list. Khali's been on the list. I put Khali on the list. No, I put Great Khali on the list the night he returned at Battleground last year. That's why I put him on the list. Literally, I was just so disgusted again. As I keep mentioning, when I saw that, I was literally sitting right over there on my bed with that's my PC right there. Right there. I was literally sitting right there on my bed, right by where the pillow is, watching the match. And as soon as I'm like, what could make this worse? Khali show up or something like that? Because that pay-per-view was awful. And as soon as Khali came out, I literally just got up, walked out the door, went right across the hall to my bathroom, and pretend I was about to throw up. I was not going to, but pretend I was going to. And I screamed out, "Why?" Yeah, but that was bad also as well. Reasons why Khali was one of the worst champions ever. Also do that with Jinder. Yes, I think I already put Jinder on the list too. All Khali's matches were my favorites, even though we all know they suck. Very funny, Dakota. Or superstars who were the worst champions ever. Jinder Mahal just made the list. That's cool. Your dad is visiting. I live with my parents still. Totally forgot. Random comment. Here comes the big dog. No, but I still live with my parents, Lauren. Khali and Mahal should form a tag team called the two worst in ring performers ever. Yeah, that. Or, I'm not trying to down any Cena fans, but last year I was making a joke whenever once or twice where Cena and Reigns teamed up in tag team matches. I'm like, oh, is this team you both suck or something like that? Because that's what the both of them would get the chance. But that's why I made a joke about that. No worries, Lauren. But yeah, so let's get on with my numbers 1 and 2 for the worst SummerSlam matches. Then we'll go on to the best SummerSlam matches. So my number 2, SummerSlam 1995, Diesel, Kevin Nash, Big Daddy Cold Diesel, Kevin Nash, versus King Mabel for the WWF Championship. 1995 was not a good year for the World Wrestling Federation. A lot of the big stars by this time were gone to WCW. The WWF was getting their butts kicked by any other promotion at the time. Their talent was thin. They were relying on guys like, Shawn Michaels, which, was on the rise as a single star. Razor Ramon, Diesel, Kevin Nash, who, wasn't terrible. Like the match with Diesel and Shawn Michaels was decent, not great, but it was decent at WrestleMania 11. Like that could have gone away with being the main event. But said they had I can't remember what the celebrity match was. I already had like a celebrity match that year, which was okay for what it was, but you should have had your championship match though as the main event of that pay-per-view. But we have Diesel versus King Mabel. Mabel, Viscera, Big Daddy V, sorry, whatever his name was, whichever gimmick he was, never was that impressed with him. And again, at the time, Diesel, he was champion, wasn't completely awful, but was still kind of green. This is a weak main event. It was just weak. It was boring. It was not good. And it followed up the match that had to happen again on the show because, again, if they didn't have that match, then this would have been a complete flop of a pay-per-view. Well, it for the most part was because, again, it was just a bunch of low-card talents on a pay-per-view, on a big pay-per-view. And once again, that's all they really had in 95. But it followed the rematch from WrestleMania 10 with Razor Ramon and Shawn Michaels for Intercontinental Championship. That was a good match. That was a really, really great Intercontinental Championship ladder match. So like following that with just this slow-paced match for your main event title, yeah, Mabel was a big dude, but he was not meant to be a world champion or anything whatsoever. He was nothing really that special, really, in my honest opinion. So that's my number 2. Let's read off 10-2 real quick, and then I'll say my number 1, which is pretty obvious what number 1 is. And someone actually guessed in the live chat before. So my top 10 worst SummerSlam matches of all time. Number 10 is The New Day versus The Club at SummerSlam 2016. Number 9 is Randy Orton versus John Cena at SummerSlam 2009. Number 8 is Lex Luger versus Yokozuna at SummerSlam 1993. Number 7 is John Cena versus Baron Corbin at SummerSlam 2017. Number 6 is King Booker versus Batista at SummerSlam 2006. Number 5 is The Great Khali versus Batista at SummerSlam 2007. Number 4 is Big Show versus Big Cass with Enzo Amore locked in a shark cage at SummerSlam 2017. Number 3 is The Undertaker versus Giant Gonzales at SummerSlam 1993. Number 2 is Diesel versus King Mabel at SummerSlam 1995. My number 1 for my worst SummerSlam matches of all time is what most people on most websites have read considered the worst main event in SummerSlam history. From SummerSlam 1994, The Undertaker, Mark Calloway, versus fake Undertaker, I think it was Bryan Lee, I reckon his name was, in the main event of SummerSlam 1994. I mentioned before, Undertaker was definitely kind of green in the early years of his career. Yes, he had a good gimmick, wasn't anything that spectacular in the ring, especially after coming off, some SummerSlam matches from the prior years, especially from 1993 with Giant Gonzales. He really needed a big match here. So the story was going on with something with I forgot, he was written off TV for a few months, and then Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man, was bringing in this other Undertaker, saying he was the real Undertaker, and Paul Bearer was going to resurrect the real Undertaker, and everyone figured out who the real Undertaker was at SummerSlam. You know what? Looking at this, really, this could have been okay. It could have been it wasn't going to be amazing, but it could have been a little bit more tolerable. The biggest problem was, though, this was the main event. Now, I could have put Diesel and King Mabel for the championship as number 1, but that was for the championship. This was not for your main event championship, but this followed one of the better SummerSlam matches, I gotta say. A championship match inside of a steel cage between Bret and Owen. I talked about that match last week with, the family brawl afterwards with basically everybody else against Owen and Jim the Anvil Neidhart as well. This match followed that. And, that would have been a great ending to the show. Bret overcoming, but then, the whole family just, blow up the pieces. Could be a good ending to the show. Instead, we followed up with this. I mean, again, if it was somewhere different on the card, I'm sure it would be considered as bad. But with just how slow, boring, bland it was not a main event match. Yes, it was Return of the Undertaker. But with his wrestling abilities, was Mark Calloway really that big of a deal yet that he needed to be in the main event of SummerSlam 1994? Yeah, I just didn't think that this match was worthy of being in the main event. It was slow, it was weak, and it took place after your WWF Championship match. This, a non-title match that was just bland as hell, took place after your WWF Championship match. And that is the reason why The Undertaker versus The Undertaker at SummerSlam 1994 is my worst match in SummerSlam history. So one more time, let's go through the list here before checking the live chat. Moving on to the top 10 best matches in SummerSlam history. Let's go over this list one more time, real quickly here. Number 10, New Day in the Club for the tag team titles at SummerSlam 2016. Number 9, Randy Orton versus John Cena for the WWE Championship, SummerSlam 2009. Number 8, Lex Luger versus Yokozuna for the WWF Championship at SummerSlam 1993. Number 7 is John Cena versus Baron Corbin at SummerSlam 2017. Booker T versus Batista for the world title at SummerSlam 2006. Number 6. Number 5 is Khali versus Batista for the world title in 2007. Number 4 is Show and Cass, Enzo in the Shark Cage last year. Number 3 is Undertaker and Giant Gonzales, SummerSlam 1993. Number 2 is Diesel versus King Mabel for the title at SummerSlam 95. And number 1 is Undertaker versus Undertaker at SummerSlam 1994. Live chat. Let's see what we got here. Let's see here. I think Lesnar versus Orton in 2006 was bad, to be honest. She thought, yeah, that was a letdown. That was disappointing. I didn't get that one at all. She does not like Kevin Nash. Dakota's not either. He is just an oversized Drew McIntyre. I like that. Dean versus Roman versus Seth was nothing what I expected. It could have been better. At Battleground, yeah, it was bad, but I definitely expected better. And what also kind of hurt that match also was Roman was suspended for most of that build. So I would like to see them try again for a Shield triple threat at WrestleMania. That is, maybe that will be at WrestleMania 35 when Dean Ambrose comes back. They can have that match there, maybe. But I do think after WrestleMania 35, they got to split up the Shield members again on the brands. I feel like someone's gonna go to SmackDown, for sure. But I don't think that match could have been better. Let's see here. Miz at SummerSlam 2010 was bad. Whoever he faced, yeah, who did he face that year? I can't remember. Was it MVP? I can't remember. Remember that match was Matt also. King Larry asks, what is worse, WWE in the mid-90s or Raw in 2008? Well, the mid-90s didn't have any talent. Raw here in 2018, they had the talent. They're just not doing anything with it unless your name's Roman Reigns. I would say in 2018, it's not even trying. He faced Orton or Cena. Didn't the Miz face him? I don't think he faced. No, in 2010 that was when Cena was part of Team WWE and Orton faced Sheamus. I can't remember. Was it MVP? Maybe I can't remember. Let me check here. Let's see here. The Miz, SummerSlam 2010. Oh, wait. I don't think – that's right. I don't think Miz had a match at SummerSlam 2010 because remember he was supposed to be or maybe in the pre-show, I can't remember. It could have been something in the pre-show, maybe, I don't know. But remember, because he was teasing that he was going to be the seventh member of Team WWE, but it ended up being Daniel Bryan. So maybe it was a match another year. I'm not 100% sure. Mid-90s, that was so bad it was. Kane versus Mysterio in summer 2010 was bad. That was okay, but yeah, it wasn't the greatest. Taker versus Taker, yes. Triple H versus Carlito was bad. That was, I think, sometime after SummerSlam. I can't remember. What was the point of Taker versus Taker? Yeah, it was weird. Lauren says she's got to go pack and clean. She can't stay for the rest of the top 10. She'll catch it later. Okay, that's fine, Lauren. I know you're busy. Thanks again for joining in. By the way, yes, Brian Lee was the name of fake Taker who turned 97 as Chains in the biker gang, Disciples of the Apocalypse. Just found that out. Thanks for clarifying that, Larry. What if Khali teams with Mahal, called the worst in-ring performers ever? Geez, they'd be in heat easily. Or the modern-day Maharaja brothers. Not to back, man, yes. Lauren's back already. She thought Rusev and Orton was bad, too. Raw 2018 is bad. They can come out dancing and seeing yeah. Oh man, no, thanks. MVP was bad too. She never liked him. Didn't Miz just have a promo that was pretty good. He liked MVP. Taker versus Taker. Yeah. Remember when Kane dressed as Taker and Taker dressed as Kane? I actually do not remember that. I'm not sure if I remember that, but I'll have to definitely check that one out. I guess Lauren is back for the time being. So we still got Lauren, King Larry the first. Did you win King in the Ring, by the way? King Larry? Just kidding. And we still got Dakota. So let's now roll into the top 10 best SummerSlam matches of all time. Let's see. What do we got here? Aha. We're starting off good. Going back to SummerSlam 2009. The main event of SummerSlam 2009. Number 10, Jeff Hardy versus CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship in a TLC match. When you got, Jeff Hardy, who was meant for, the extreme moments, such as a TLC match with the Swanton Bomb off the ladder into the announce table, and CM Punk, who is, gaining the momentum as a heel since he had won the World Heavyweight Championship, cashing in on Jeff Hardy. And the feud they had was great. Brought a lot of truth. Yes, CM Punk being the heel, but he was attacking Jeff Hardy based off of his real-life drug issues. And, Hardy did overcome Punk the month before at Night of Champions. Then he had the rematch in his TLC match. Unfortunately, it was Hardy's last pay-per-view match, as he would have, I think, a loser leaves WWE match a few weeks later on SmackDown. But yeah, the match was awesome. It was, just a great way to culminate this feud that was going on well. I mean, Punk won the title back, but it established him more as a top heel in the company, especially on SmackDown. And of course, it just, brought out the best of Jeff Hardy as the Daredevil favorite and whatnot. So number 10 is Jeff Hardy versus CM Punk in the TLC match from SummerSlam 2009. The main event. And also, don't want to also mention, but after the match, also, Punk stood over Hardy laying on the ground. The gong went off, lights went out. Undertaker returned and attacked Punk, and they had their feud started for the rest of the fall there. Well, Undertaker would eventually win the world title in a very bland Hell in a Cell match later on that year. And then, of course, that would eventually escalate to, the match with, him and Batista, Mysterio, and whatnot. And that's when Batista turned heel and whatnot. But you'll get the point there. But number 10 is CM Punk and Jeff Hardy for the world title in a TLC match at SummerSlam 2009. Number 9, we just kind of talked about this match before. What should have been the main event of SummerSlam 1994. Bret the Hitman Hart taking on his brother Owen Hart in the steel cage match for the WWF Championship at SummerSlam 1994. Bret and Owen, two brothers, work great together, told a great story going from the beginning. Owen was tired of suffering losses because of his brother, and he wanted to prove that he was better than his brother. Of course, he beat Bret in an amazing opening match at WrestleMania 10. Eventually, I think Owen went on to win King of the Ring and eventually earned his way into getting a championship match against Bret at SummerSlam 1994. And also going back to the history of the fact that, yes, Owen won the match, though, in the opening match, and then later in the night, because of both Hart and Lex Luger each were co-winners of the Royal Rumble match. They got their chances to win the title that night, and Bret Hart won that match. And the steel cage match was great, but of course, also story going there was the Jim Anvil Neidhart was also siding with Owen as well. So they're showing, the Hart family sitting at ringside watching the match, and obviously what was going on. But when Bret won at the end of the match, Jim got in there, locked the cage, and was 2-on-1ing up Bret. And the rest of the family got in there, just that big family brawl. It was just butter pure chaos that just left a great hook. That could have been going on for next episode of the Raw and whatnot. And unfortunately, that was the case. We got Undertaker versus Undertaker to close out the show, but it was still an awesome match. Again, it was one of those matches. The story being told in it. Of course, I was almost 1 year old when this match happened, but I would have. I definitely think that if I was, trying to become a wrestling fan or trying to show someone a match that could, grab somebody's attention, this would be one of those matches I feel that would definitely, grab someone's attention to become a wrestling fan. Is Bret versus Owen in the steel cage match at SummerSlam 1994 for the WWF Championship. That is my number 9. Number 8. Now, This match, I actually saw online, somebody listed this in their top 10s as one of the worst matches of all time at SummerSlam. I actually really like this match. It was, I mean, yes, it was at a time where both these guys were well out of their prime, but I still just saw the violence in this match and just, you know, the determination from both of these legends to literally get one or the other to say, I quit. Ric Flair versus Mick Foley in an I Quit match at SummerSlam 2006. This match was brutal. They had Flair and Mick Foley using, you know, different you know, barbed wire bats and whatnot. They used all these weapons. These guys were bleeding open, and, you know, you heard them on the microphone, like, you know, the anger, you know, the determination for one of these legends to get, you know, Ric Flair, who is, again, it's my dad cheering on football because he's goes on road in football season. Anyways, but yeah, Ric Flair, one of the greatest of all time. How easy do you think it's going to for you guys for someone to get him to say I quit? Mick Foley, the hardcore legend, who literally would just fall off of the top of Hell in a Cell just to entertain the audience and whatnot. You think he's going to say I quit that easily? And I believe it was Melina who was out there also, like, you know, worried for Mick Foley's sake as far as he had to go to it. She came out at one point and she tried to, you know, throw in the towel for Foley. But then Ric Flair was like, that's not how we're going to end this match. And they continued to go at it. And then I think as Flair threatening Melina pretty much to get Mick Foley to say, I quit. I thought it was just brutal. You know, these two legends went out of their way to make one of the or the other. Again, there was no doubt about it. They were way out of their prime. No doubt about it. But just the story being told here, I thought was simple. You know, the act of violence in it, I thought was just great. That's why I put it on my list as my number 7. I mean, at number 8, I'm sorry, is Ric Flair versus Mick Foley in the I Quit match at SummerSlam 2006. Number 7. You guys are those of you who know me well are going to be really, really surprised that this one's not my number 1. I mean, yes, it was the match, but it was more so the moment after the match. As I said, that's what made me a full-time wrestling fan. But my number 7 on this list, there were some matches that I could say I enjoyed a little bit more wrestling-wise than this match. This match was still great, don't get me wrong, but I definitely seen a little bit better wrestling matches. Number 7 is John Cena versus Daniel Bryan at SummerSlam 2013. Again, I know most of you guys are probably shocked right now because I kept saying, you know, that match, well, mainly the moment after the match is what grabbed my attention and made me a full-time wrestling fan. So I've only been a wrestling fan for 5 years. But the match was still great. Getting told the story of, you know, Daniel Bryan, you know, having a hot summer and people, you know, getting behind him and believing in him as a single star. And then when John Cena's given the opportunity to pick his opponent, he picked Daniel Bryan because he listened to what the fans wanted. And of course, everybody's doubting that Daniel Bryan is, you know, worthy of being, you know, the face of the WWE. And even Vince McMahon is against it as well. You know, Brad Maddox screwed him out of a match against Wade Barrett, who is kind of also doing some of the corporate dirty work as well. So Brad Maddox was making his case to be the referee for the match at SummerSlam. But then Triple H came out and, you know, he had mentioned that, you know, now he wasn't like, you know, just playing favorites of Daniel Bryan, but he was proving that he believed in Daniel Bryan. And he said he wanted to, you know, have a referee who he knew was going to be, you know, impartial and call the match down the middle between John Cena and Daniel Bryan. And of course, that's why he made his case and he became the special guest referee. Well, the match happened. And again, the match was great. Again, it wasn't quite as good as I thought it was. It was still a great match, still one of the best matches. And because Daniel Bryan, he beat John Cena clean. The two brought out the best of each other, and Daniel Bryan beat John Cena clean. Afterwards, you know, celebrating, but then the moment afterwards, of course, Randy Orton came out, teased a cash in, and then Triple H turned heel. This is the first I think Triple H had been a heel since 2006. Turned heel and you know, help Orton win the championship. You know, just planting the seeds for, you know, a great story for WrestleMania. That, keep in mind again, as I said, guys, they were not going to go through with this with that storyline at all. They were going to have Bryan face Sheamus at WrestleMania 30, just cause. But yeah, surprise. I know, surprise. It was not my number one because it's the match and the moment afterwards that made me a wrestling fan. Personally, there were a few other matches that after going back to watching the rest of the Star Wars, I thought they may have a little bit more of an edge over this match wrestling wise, I'd say. But this is still one of the greatest SummerSlam matches of all time. My number 7 is John Cena versus Daniel Bryan at SummerSlam 2013 for the WWE Championship. That's my number 7. One more before I check the live chat again. Number 6. I kind of talked about this match before. It was a match before the main event of SummerSlam 1995. Razor Ramon versus Shawn Michaels in the Intercontinental Championship ladder match. I'm trying to remember. There was a different plan, I think, for this. I can't remember who it was supposed to be at first. But I think Razor Ramon went in there as champion this time. I think. I can't remember for sure. But this match happened again because they obviously needed a good match for SummerSlam 1995. Because other than that, that show was not going to be anything special at all. No one was probably going to buy into it and whatnot. Match was great. Again, these were two guys who had the first ever ladder match at WrestleMania 10, and they just knew how to this time at WrestleMania 10 it was a face and heel dynamic. This time it was a face on face dynamic. It was two guys who I believe in real life were good friends. Of course, Scott Hall and Shawn Michaels, just bringing the best out of each other, using the ladders as weapons, not just just being there, like using them, being physical with the ladders as well. And of course, Razor Ramon will go on to win the match, and then sign respect towards the end, got a good pop from the crowd, and unfortunately, all that died down with the main event that year. But in my opinion, it's still one of the greatest matches in SummerSlam history. That's why it's my number 6 is Razor Ramon versus Shawn Michaels for the Intercontinental Championship ladder match at WrestleMania 1995. Live chat, let's see what happened. Let's see here. I think it was right here. Lana and Dolph versus Summer Rae and Rusev was bad. They didn't even got to have the mixed tag match. Yeah, that match at SummerSlam 2015 was probably the lowest point of that show. Again, I was actually in attendance live for that show. That show was just too long. I mean, it was okay, but it was just long. But that match definitely was meh. It was probably meant to, just give Lana some more babyface momentum. Of course, that all got thrown out the window once Rusev and Lana revealed their engagement online. That was dumb, Lauren, when they dressed as each other. Dolph and Lana versus Rusev and Summer was bad. Jeff versus Punk was good as well. As Punk got older, I really didn't like his personality or really character after 2011. He became annoying to me, but he's still one of the greatest of all time, definitely. Taker and Punk was a great feud too. 2009 wasn't too bad. 2013 and the WrestleMania 29, that was great as well. We got to think of Cena versus Jericho at SummerSlam 2005. That wasn't too bad of a match. I didn't mind that match. It wasn't one of my favorites, but it wasn't too bad. Daniel versus Cena or Punk versus Cena or Christian versus Orton are the top, she thinks. Brett and Owen was awesome. Just wish their feud lasted longer. Christian versus Orton wasn't good, Lauren, but the other two I agree with. Benoit versus Orton is also up at the top. Not on my list, but definitely. What are you smoking, Dakota? Christian versus Orton, which I thought was good. King Larry the First says, "He who must not be named." Yeah, Chris Benoit. You had Orton losing the title by getting spit on. That is dumb. Meltzer even rated that match bad. I mean, you kind of played into the story, but that was definitely weird how they did that. I mean, that feud definitely did drag on with the littlest things, but as I heard the rumors behind it, they were trying to drag that feud out because they're the only big top stars they had on SmackDown at the time, because that was right before the brand split was dropped. Who did Rollins and Ambrose face at SummerSlam 2014? Each other. They faced each other at SummerSlam 2014, the Lumberjack match. She thought Rick and Foley was decent. Orton versus Benoit, not Triple H versus Orton. Edge and Taker was good at SummerSlam 2008 also, yes. Batista and Cena, I like that match too. It's 08. Christian spit on Orton. Charlotte and Sasha at SummerSlam 2016 was good. That was good too, but the ending kind of was shocking. I didn't think Charlotte was going to retain. That was Money in the Bank. Seth Rollins was in a match with Dean Ambrose. Let's clarify that. Lauren would have put Cena versus Bryan at number 3, Seth versus Dean at number 2, and Orton versus Christian at number 1. Did I put Orton and Christian on this list? I think I put them on my hidden gems list. That was because that was definitely a really good match. I thought they had the no holds barred match 2011. I definitely liked how, it had Orton coming out like as dangerous against Christian, taking all of his anger on him, but it had Christian also feeling like a legit a legitimate contender also as well. But yeah, that was definitely good. You said the whole feud was good. That was not good. I didn't like the feud because of how it was booked. Please don't fight, guys. His favorite Orton feud was with Triple H and then John Cena. The Orton and Triple H feud was definitely good. Nikki turned on Brie at SummerSlam 2014 was unexpected. She enjoyed it. I heard rumors about that. I just wish their feud would have been better because that feud, that Jerry Springer segment, I didn't really enjoy the feud afterwards, but I do appreciate the effort behind having Nikki turn on Brie, what they did. Paige versus AJ at SummerSlam 2014, that wasn't too bad. They were great feuding. Razor's match was good. Who did HBK face at SummerSlam 2008? He didn't face anybody because that was the SummerSlam segment with him and Jericho, and where first looked like HBK was going to announce his retirement, but Jericho came out saying that no, before you leave, you're going to mention that your career ended because of me, and then he punched Shawn Michaels' wife in the face. He didn't have a match that year, but that's what happened there. That was a great match, Mike, with Shawn and Razor. Dumber Ray, Punk and Jericho had an amazing feud. Yes, they did. Rollins versus Cena at SummerSlam 15 was good as a hidden gem, but the whole SummerSlam match between Christian and Orton, he thought was decent. Shawn Michaels had no match. Yeah, he pretty much clarified what I just said. We are fighting. Yeah, that's cool, Dakota. Jericho had big real life heat at this time. Yes, he did. Oh, yes. But thank you for stuff in the live chat, guys. Let's get to the top 5 SummerSlam matches of all time. Number 5 was the first TLC match. Edge and Christian versus the Dudley Boys versus the Hardy Boys for the tag team championships in the TLC match at SummerSlam 2000. That's TLC 1. I still consider TLC 2 the best one. I think they did have a third one on episode of SmackDown, I think. But the second was the best. This one, though, was still awesome as well. Just 3 teams who just knew how to get extreme in the ring pretty much. Physically. Well, that sounds a little weird, but, using the weapons very well, just bringing the best out of each other, just making history and defying, what those matches are all about. Again, the second one I thought was a little bit better, some more extreme moments in that, especially, again, the second one at WrestleMania 17, one of my favorite moments of all time still is with Edge spearing Jeff Hardy in midair like he did off of the belts. Was awesome. But the first match, gotta give it the credit. It was still great. It set the tone for what TLC was about as well. So that's why I gotta give it to the first TLC match, number 5. Edge and Christian versus the Dudley Boys versus the Hardys at SummerSlam 2000. Number 4, Shawn Michaels versus Triple H in the unsanctioned match at SummerSlam 2002. This match told that great story. Shawn Michaels being away from wrestling for 4 years because of his back injury, and then him coming back, and then Triple H turning on him because the story of there, when Shawn Michaels left, Triple H, just took his spot pretty much and emerged. Now with Shawn Michaels coming back, he's trying to keep him down, hoping that he's not going to take his spot back and prove that Shawn Michaels still doesn't have it anymore. he beat the crap out of him in that parking lot brawl, which, first was who attacked him, but then it was revealed to be Triple H when seeing it on, the security camera. And then they set up the match at SummerSlam, which was an unsanctioned match. And it just told that good story, it showed that, HBK still had it. He was meant to be back. And yes, he didn't win, he won with just a roll up like he did. And then afterwards, Triple H beat him down to continue on the feud. But it just proved that, hey, I'm back. But if you want to continue this war, let's keep going at it. But I still got it. So in my opinion, both people came out there looking strong. But it's obviously it was leading to, a big feud for them down the line as well. And I think it's told a great story there. That's why it's my number 4 on this list is Shawn Michaels versus Triple H at SummerSlam 2002. Number 3 is an Intercontinental Championship match. Wait a minute. Did I skip one? I feel like oh no, I swore I thought at one point I did have The Rock and Triple H. I think I did have that's an honorable mention, The Rock versus Triple H at SummerSlam 1998. That was a good match as well, right around the time where they're both about to become big stars. But I forgot to put that one on my list, but that's an honorable mention. But my number 3 on the list though is another Intercontinental Championship match. It was the main event of SummerSlam 1992. Bret the Hitman Hart versus Davey Boy Smith, the British Bulldog, in an Intercontinental Championship match. It told a great story there. It kind of, was Bret Hart, getting ready to move on to the more main event level and have Davey Boy Smith being built as a strong, mid-card level contender as well. It was, brother-in-laws, I believe, going at it. They had the family there again, making it feel, real. And, this has an effect on the family as well. And even Bret was realizing that, for the first time, for a while, he felt that he was in danger. And he had to revert some heel tactics as well. I can't remember exactly what all he did, but he had to revert some heel tactics in order to retain his championship. Did not work out though, as Davey Boy Smith would eventually overcome him in an instant classic. Definitely one of the best SummerSlam matches of all time. Wins the match. Definitely one of the greatest SummerSlam moments of all time as well. Bret shows him a sign of respect afterwards. Kind of like a little passing of the torch again with Bret about to be in the main event level, and for Davey Boy Smith to be just a strong mid-card contender as well. It was fresh. It was a great main event, especially with the IC title on the line as well. So that's why I gave it my number 3 on this list, Bret Hart versus Davey Boy Smith for the Intercontinental Championship at SummerSlam 1992. Let's check the live chat before I get to my top 2 matches in SummerSlam history. Which are they? Oh, yeah, I see they are. Let's see here. That triple threat TLC was gold, Lauren said. I have because I like Lauren, I had to pick on her, of course. And SummerSlam, I think, will be a good one this year. I forgot about that one, Mike. That's why Y2J made a great heel. The days of Hardy Dudley's as a Christian. Can we get it back, please? I wish. That'd be awesome. Get physical. Yeah, it does sound weird. Owens versus Zayn at SummerSlam 17 of 2016. They actually did not have a match at SummerSlam. I mean, I thought they were going to blow off their feud at SummerSlam 2016 because they kept them both on the same brands. I wanted an I Quit match. I wanted an I Quit match with Zayn and Owens. The loser goes to SmackDown. And said they had a great match at Battleground that year. But, of course, Sammy won the match. But then the next month at SummerSlam, Sammy's in a pre-show match, him and Neville against the Dudleys. And then Owens is on the main show. That's when Jericho formed. And then even if Owens did not win the title after Finn relinquished it, he was set to feud with Finn for the title that fall anyways. So, yeah, that's so weird. But, yeah, they didn't have a match at SummerSlam. They had a match at Battleground, though, which was awesome in 2016. Wish we could King Larry until they changed the ratings. Keep dreaming. Exactly. Choice to HBK was an all-time great feud. I love it. Wish it went longer. Hogan versus HBK at SummerSlam 2005. That one was good. I thought Shawn oversold Hogan a little too much, though. I thought that's why I didn't quite make my top 10 list, but that's definitely a great match as well. Jericho and Cena was okay, could have been better, she thought. Teams are too scary to do that now. Those guys were fearless except Devon. He was scared of heights. He told Jeff to quit kicking him. It was hilarious. Oh gosh. Edge and Cena was good in 2006. Yes, I definitely agree. So does Dakota. You cannot compare it, but Gargano and Ciampa has HBK and Triple H level excitement right now, but nothing really comes down to Shawn and Hunter. I definitely do agree, King Larry. I'm sorry you like the feud. I didn't. That's fine. Opinions are different for everyone. So yep, exactly. Tag teams will never be the same. Exactly. Cena and Rollins. Yeah, that was that was more a hidden gem for me, but that was still great. Finn versus Seth was a hidden gem. Taker versus Orton. Again, I completely forgot about that one, but that was definitely a good match also. The sell on Hogan's leg drop he did on purpose, Mike, because Hogan was a douche, yes. DX versus Legacy. That wasn't too bad of a tag match. I like that tag match. Roman versus Styles. That match happened. Those matches happened at Payback and Extreme Rules, not SummerSlam. And then Lauren claims she never liked Hogan. Roman versus Styles was only like 15 minutes. Yeah, again, Roman and Styles wasn't at SummerSlam, guys. But they had pretty good matches also, Roman and Styles. Speaking of which, let's get to numbers 1 and 2. Reigns versus Orton. We talked about that match earlier. I mean, that match was okay. It definitely could have been better, but I do definitely agree, the first portion of it felt it took like a little bit too long for it to get into another gear again. It was probably just a match that I probably set my expectations for kind of high. Capitalized towards the end, but definitely was not as good as it should have. Sable and Tori. Trying to remember that one. I can't quite remember it. I can't quite remember that one. I probably saw it. I can't remember which SummerSlam it was, but I can't say what I thought about it because I saw it, but I can't remember which SummerSlam it was. But keep coming to a lot of chat, guys. I'll reveal my top 2. My number 2. This match was unreal. SummerSlam 2016. John Cena versus AJ Styles. An unreal match. They had their first match. Again, it's still one of the shocking heel turns to me. I can't remember what number it was on my list when I did most unexpected heel turns. Was an AJ Styles turn heel and attack John Cena on the Memorial Day episode in 2016. I was shocked. I did not expect Styles to go heel. But again, I'm glad he went heel because I think it was meant to light the fire in him and help him with his microphone skills. Helped a lot. He beat Cena at Money in the Bank with just a little bit of help from the club towards the end. Yes, they lost in a 6-man tag match at Battleground, but that's okay. I expect that to happen. And then they have this match, and this was the match. I'm like, okay, can they pull the trigger here? Can John Cena put the guy over, or is this just somebody else? Eating another pin from Cena. Cena's got to get his win back as always. This match was awesome. It told us that great story of John Cena, being one of the greatest of all time, but Styles, being one of the best around the world, just looking to beat Cena clean once and for all. He was looking to, as I should say, hashtag beat up John Cena. No club will, because that's when the club went to Raw, Styles went to SmackDown. This match was unreal, and I will still never forget that moment. Cena hit an avalanche AA on Styles, and I thought, that's it. That's got to be it, because that's the same move Cena used, the avalanche AA from the third rope, I believe it was, second or third rope, 1 to 2. That helped Cena pin Styles at Battleground in the 6-man tag match. When Styles kicked out of that, and the look on Cena's face, I went nuts. I thought Cena had him there. Cena had a couple good near falls kicking out of some of Styles' moves, but then when Styles was on the ropes, he ripped off the elbow band. I'm like, this has got to be it. Come on. I was worried that he would throw his phenomenal forearm and Cena would catch him in the AA. I'm like, that's it. Styles is not going much in this company anyways, but nope. Styles hit that phenomenal forearm on Cena to beat John Cena clean. He beat the big man clean, and he went and got his rightfully deserved place, getting a shot for the WWE Championship. You could have done that when Bobby Lashley beat Roman Reigns recently, Vince, by the way. Just an unreal match. It was an unreal moment. It established a new star in the company, a guy we knew could be a good star, but he just had to prove it, and he proved it right there. And that right there pretty much sealed the deal with AJ Styles being superstar of the year in 2016, having the rest of the year phenomenal. Great match with Dean Ambrose at Backlash that year. An amazing triple threat match at No Mercy. Had a good showing in the Survivor Series elimination match that year. And his TLC match with Ambrose was great as well. And even though he dropped the title to Cena at Royal Rumble 2017, which I was cool with that, they still, again, put on another match. But this one right here was a classic, I thought. Unreal. One of my favorite matches of all time. My number 2 is John Cena versus AJ Styles at SummerSlam 2016. So to get the hype up, let's go through 10-2 again on this list before we get to my number 1. Number 10 for the best matches of all time at SummerSlam. Jeff Hardy and CM Punk, TLC World Heavyweight Championship, SummerSlam 2009. Number 9, Bret and Owen, steel cage match for the title at SummerSlam 94. Number 8 was Flair and Foley in the I Quit match in 2006. Number 7, Cena and Bryan for the title at SummerSlam 2013. Number 6 is Razor and HBK IC title ladder match, 1995. Number 5 is TLC 1 at SummerSlam 2000. Number 4 is HBK and Triple H unsanctioned match in 2002. Number 3 is Hart and Davey Boy Smith, the British Bulldog, in the IC title match at SummerSlam 92. Number 2, Cena and Styles, SummerSlam 2016. Number 1. Watching this match again recently. Again, it took place at one of my favorite pay-per-views to watch, and I definitely recommend going back and watching it again, guys. SummerSlam 2013. My opinion, even though the wrong person won the match, this was still just an unreal match. Watching it again made me want to see them. Wish these guys would have had a rematch. The Best versus the Beast. CM Punk versus Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam 2013. I know usually whenever, the wrong person goes over, it kind of affects it a little bit. I couldn't take it away how great this match was. This match told such a great story. CM Punk, after, being champion, lost to The Rock, lost to The Undertaker. That's when, he wanted some time off because of his injuries. He didn't want to come back till SummerSlam, but he came back sooner, and Paul Heyman turned on him at Money in the Bank because, he felt that, Brock was his better client, and, he felt hurt also that Punk turned on him and Punk wanted to do things on his own now. So now Punk wanted to prove that he was better and he could beat Brock Lesnar, and that is exactly what was told in this match. This was a no disqualification match added in there. And again, with no disqualifications, doesn't mean you have to always use weapons left and right. But you can take advantage of disqualification rules anyway besides just weapons. And the disqualification rule was taken advantage of perfectly in this match. It was physical. Brock was, literally giving Punk his all, but Punk was hanging in there. There were so many near falls, so many times that looked like CM Punk could have beaten Brock Lesnar. Like, I was convinced watching this match again a second time recently that CM Punk could have beaten Brock Lesnar in that match. Like, he was written to look like that. And of course, the only reason why he didn't was a Paul Heyman's interference. And Punk, though, was obsessed with getting his hands on Heyman as well. Because of that, though, it's what costed Punk the match when Lesnar hit an F5 on Punk to beat him. The story, though, was just simple. I should say it was simple, but it was a simple story. Punk just trying to prove to Heyman that, he thinks, Brock Lesnar has all the gold he's got. Well, he could beat him, and, he doesn't need Heyman. He can prove that he is the best in the world with or without him. I so badly wish they would have had a rematch. And again, as I said, what should have happened is, yes, Brock's not wrestling full time. Yes, apparently Heyman has some other guys. He could have feuded with Curtis Axel and Ryback. And yes, it's the end result. Punk wanted to get his hands on Lesnar. So instead of having 2 matches with Ryback, which again, how do you go from feuding with Brock to Ryback? You could have had them have the matches, you know, Night of Champions, and he faced Axel at Battleground. Yes, he could have just faced Ryback there, and that's it. Beat them both. But then at Hell in a Cell, instead of having another match with Ryback, which I'm sorry, that match was awful. I mean, yes, you know, it was cool, you know, seeing Punk go to the top and getting his comeuppance on Heyman there. But what could have happened is, the stipulation could have been Brock versus Punk rematch inside Hell in a Cell at Hell in a Cell 2013. If Punk beat Lesnar, he would have been allowed to get his hands on Heyman in his time with Heyman. And Heyman was not allowed to have anybody else help him or whatnot. That would have been awesome to have. Again, that SummerSlam match made me so badly wish they would have done another match, because I believe, like, you know, again, you know, yes, it's choreographed, it's written, but I believe the way they wrote that match made me believe that Punk could have won that match. And he most definitely should have won that match as well. Because how many more part-timers was he going to put over? But that is why, again, despite the fact, yes, I know the wrong person went over, but to me, it's still, in my opinion, one of the great matches also of all time. And that is why it is my number 1 on my list of my top 10 SummerSlam matches of all time. The Best versus the Beast. CM Punk versus Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam 2013. So one more time, guys, let's run through both lists really quick. I'll check out the live chat one more time before checking out. So let's go back down to the beginning of this video where we talked about my worst SummerSlam matches of all time. Number 10 was New Day versus The Club in the tag title match at SummerSlam 2016. Number 9 is Orton and Cena for the title in SummerSlam 2009. Number 8 is Luger and Yokozuna for the title at SummerSlam 93. Number 7 is Cena and Corbin, SummerSlam 2017. Number 6 is Booker T and King Booker and Batista for the world title at SummerSlam 2006. Number 5 was Khali versus Batista at SummerSlam 2007 for the title. Big showing, big cast with Enzo in the Shark Cage, SummerSlam 2017. Number 3 was Taker and Giant Gonzales, SummerSlam 93. Number 2 is Diesel versus King Mabel for the title at SummerSlam 1995. And number 1 was Taker versus Taker at SummerSlam 94. So those were my top 10 worst SummerSlam matches of all time. My top 10 best: number 10, Hardy and Punk, TLC for the world title in 2009. Number 9 is Brent Owen for the championship inside the steel cage in 94. Number 8 is Flair and Foley, I Quit, SummerSlam 2006. 7 is Cena and Bryan for the title at SummerSlam 2013. Number 6 is Razor Ramon and Shawn Michaels, IC title ladder match, SummerSlam 95. Number 5, TLC 1, SummerSlam 2000. Number 4 is HBK and Triple H, the unsanctioned match at SummerSlam 2002. Number 3 is Bret Hart and British Bulldog, IC titles, SummerSlam 92. Number 2 is Cena and Styles, SummerSlam 2016. And number 1, no disqualification, The Best versus the Beast, CM Punk versus Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam 2013. Oh boy, live chat. Let's see what you guys have to say before we close out here. Let's see what we got here. Let's see here. Who did Trish face at SummerSlam 2004? I actually cannot remember. Imagine every single Roman Reigns match we got, how great they really would have been if Reigns was heel. Don't know why, but I can't get it out of my mind. Exactly. Styles lost a six-pack challenge to Ziggler to face Dean at SummerSlam. It's right, yeah. And Balor faced Rollins. Styles versus Cena is definitely up there. Balor faced Rollins. Styles turning she didn't think wasn't really unexpected. Styles is better being a heel, she thinks. You forgot about the match. Styles is a better face. I mean, as a face before, he was okay by there was something missing from him, but when he turned heel, that kind of lit the fire in him. I think Now it's Finn versus Seth at number 1. That was on my list of a top 10 hidden gems, but it was not on this list. Dakota Great opponent against Lesnar, which he was correct. Who did Dean face at SummerSlam 2016? He faced Ziggler. For some reason, AJ Styles is a heel, or at least in WWE. I don't really feel it. Can't really connect with AJ feels. Styles though is amazing. I agree. Styles is good. He doesn't need momentum. Momentum sometimes needs an AJ Styles. I like that right there, Larry. Lesnar versus Taker wasn't bad. Dean versus Ziggler sucked. It did suck, but I definitely expected better for them. The mind games and the story was pretty good leading up to the match. I'd seen them have better matches though on Raw and whatnot beforehand. Dean and Ziggler, like even their Money in the Bank qualifying match, they had, I remember, was pretty good that year also. So I definitely I wouldn't say it sucked, but I definitely did expect better from them at their match. But it was obvious that Ziggler wasn't win. Yeah, it was obvious that Ziggler wasn't going to win that match. Dakota nailed it. Punk versus Lesnar. She didn't think Laura didn't think that Punk versus Lesnar was good. She thought it was overrated. That's fine. I do agree Punk should have won. Punk did make Lesnar have a good match. Triple H versus Lesnar was all right. I expected a little bit more from them. What were your hidden gems? Crap, I'm trying to remember them all. Also, I'd have to go back and watch my the end of my my last review. SummerSlam 2013 is definitely one of our top 10 SummerSlam pay-per-views of all time. Larry said, am I the only one that thinks of Steve Blackman making Shane fall from the Titantron when speaking about SummerSlam? There's that too. That's one of my favorite moments, definitely as well for SummerSlam. That was good. That was epic. Lawrence said it was a holy shit moment. Someone's thirsty. Yes, I am thirsty. Let me get another drink here. What do you think of what Heyman said when he said Reigns in the cut footage when Reigns had no chance to beat Lesnar unless, then Renee said unless what, and Heyman left. Again, if they do pull something, it would be interesting. But again, when it comes to Roman, again, Vince is set in his own mind. So again, it's not you, man. It's just I gotta see if the company actually pulls the trigger on something. But it would be awesome though if it did happen. If Heyman teamed with Lesnar. Still waiting on the honorable mentions. Whoops, I miss it. It's okay if you don't do it. I'm trying to think. Yeah, what honorable mentions? Well, definitely HBK and Hogan. Rock and Lesnar also. Angle and Lesnar, I'd say honorable mentions. Cena and Batista, I definitely agree that was good. Angle and Mysterio, their opening match, Summer 2001, was good. That was on my hidden gems. Trying to think what else I could say was it was an honorable mention. Punk and Cena, yes, was definitely a good one also. A hidden gem I remember from last week was Del Rio and Christian at SummerSlam 2013. That's a hidden gem. Dean and Seth was a hidden gem. I remember. I gotta go back in the list. I remember my number one was the ladder match between Eddie and Ray. I thought, yes, stipulation was weird, but I still thought it was a good ladder match between them. Seth and Cena was a hidden gem. I'm trying to remember also. I was about to fall asleep an hour ago, so I'm glad I saw that Mike is alive again. Makes my night awesome. Robbie's live saying, hey, Lauren, it's Thursday. It's another Mike Return Lunch. We got to do something special. I know. Beat up John Cena. What's up, Robbie? I did that one, Larry. Trish competed in Diva Dodgeball. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. The Diva Dodgeball thing in SummerSlam 2004. Oh, boy. Great stream, Mike. See you Monday. Much love, guys. Guess Lawrence, check it out. Thank you, guys. The Miz versus Ziggler and No Mercy was awesome. Yes, that was golden. Yes, it was. See you later, Lauren. Have a nice day, evening. What if Heyman goes to distract Reigns and accidentally distracts Lesnar and Reigns rolls him up to surprise a win? Wouldn't be too bad. Yeah, Sasha and Charlotte. Oh yeah, also was a hidden gem. I remember mentioning also it was the first women's title match. I remember at SummerSlam. Alundra Blaze versus Bull Nakano. I like that match also. That was a hidden gem also. I can remember the rest of them, but yeah, it looks like most of us are getting ready to check out. Sasha and Charlotte was a good one, but yeah. So yeah, I think we're gonna call it a night here, guys. Great stream. We were live for almost 2 hours, but we talked about the best and the worst matches of SummerSlam of all time. Next week will be the last top 10 special stream involving SummerSlam, as it will be the top 10. Well, I'll try best and worst. If I can't do both best and come with a good best and worst list, maybe I'll do just best, or maybe I'll do just top 5s for each one of them. But next week's going to be definitely the best SummerSlams of all time, and maybe the worst ones I'll list also as well. So, of course, since he's in the live chat, I'll give the plug out there to my good friend Robbie, One Kenobi, as always, because he continues to want to, he wants to be a writer for WWE. He comes up with a lot of great ideas, and I do urge Robbie to pitch another one of his fantasy ideas whenever he's available again, wherever it's live or whatnot. I know you're busy, but I look forward to hearing more of your fantasy ideas. If you haven't checked his channel, ready to check out Robbie One Kenobi. If you like what you see on Robbie's channel, as always, please, like get the hashtag up. Please sign Robbie trending to get Robbie writing for the WWE and to end the Roman Reigns over push once and for all. And you know what? Write Roman Reigns better as well. But just to make the product great again. Robbie's gonna make the product just great again. It's gonna make it so great. Robbie's a genius. We love him. It's great. It's awesome. Gotta get that Trump impression in there real quick. But yes, so that's that. Get hashtag please sign Robbie trending on Twitter, and please check out Robbie's channel as well at Robbie One Kenobi, as well as anybody else in the live chat as well. And guys, as always, please stay tuned for more content to come on my channel. Like this video, subscribe. Leave down your any of your favorite SummerSlam matches that may have not been discussed as well, or some of your worst SummerSlam matches also, whatever you guys like, or your ideas for any other top 10s coming up. So the plan for next week is next is going to be pretty darn busy. Well, for me and socially and personally. So Monday should be my Raw review. I mean, there's going to be a couple odds and ends coming too. I'm trying to do also with some of my other, fun crap I do on this channel just for the hell of it. But for wrestling content wise, next week, Raw review on Monday, Tuesday, SmackDown review, Wednesday, 205 Live, and NXT review. Maybe I'll try to do my NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 4 predictions that night also, maybe. I could do them early because the card's pretty much set now. Thursday, maybe I'll do my SummerSlam predictions that day, and then my special live stream. I don't think I'll be able to do anything that Friday. Now, here's the thing, guys. Now, I need you guys to listen to me on this one. I am not going to be able to watch TakeOver live next Saturday because I have to work 12 to 11. I'm going to be somewhere like an hour away from home. So by the time I get home, it's going to be like past midnight, and I got to get up really early the next morning. I have a really busy day on Sunday. I have a couple different things to attend to before I watch SummerSlam on Sunday. So I most likely will not be able to watch TakeOver until the day after SummerSlam. So I'm asking, please, nobody send me any spoilers involving NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 4. If you do, you know what happens when you spoil a pay-per-view before I get to see the results? You know what happens? You will make the list. Any last comments in the live chat before I check out? Amber's coming back at SummerSlam, probably to cost Seth. I want to book my fantasy card for W Evolution after SummerSlam. Awesome. Evolution will be live on the network, in case you forgot. Haha, yes, I know, Robbie. And I heard from JD from New York that that it is not 100% sure that he will come back at SummerSlam. Maybe the night after Raw or the Raw after the week. Maybe not sure. And Robbie says, I was wearing my Postal baseball cap throughout my shift today. Now I got Roderick Strong hair. Nice. Mike, I'm excited for whatever you do. Thank you very much, Larry. Again, thank you for the recent subscription as well. And I believe also is keep the subscriptions going. Where am I at now? Let me double check on my channel here because I can never see it from here in the live chat. But let me see on my phone here. I am currently at 933 subscribers. So getting that, I'm under 70. See if I can get to 1,000 by the end of the year. I started off with, I think, 700 some or 800 some at the beginning of this year. See if I get to 1,000 by the end of the year, guys. Thank you guys, as always, for support. Love you all. Peace out, guys. Have a great night. I'll see you guys later.